Today is August 2nd. It's my second Cancerversary. I have successfully survived 2 years with appendix cancer, knowing about it. And I can tell you with a certainty that somebody who went to engineering school would never ascribe to anything that I will not have another. Last year I threw a stuffed animal tea party because it was a real celebration. It was an accomplishment. And surviving the last year is a much, much greater and more difficult accomplishment. But I think I'm going to point you to all of my traveling adventures to see the daily celebrations, because it's those daily celebrations that got me through the year. Just the little things, whether it's a road trip, I guess isn't a tiny thing, but just going to dinner with my partner, or deliberately deciding to spend a quiet night in with the cat, is how I got through this past year. There's no party. I'm not faking a party. I have had a party. I have had everyone, or almost everyone who's ever meant something to me, come through these rooms. Right now, I'm sitting in one of 3 rooms that I have access to at the hospice. This is the family waiting room. We staged a lot of people here when we had multiple guests. Anyone who's come has known I've asked you to write in my notebook stories about us, things that you remember, things that will delight the people that survive me. And you've all delivered, and it's been great. Almost everyone who's come through the hospice has been in this room. This is the second time I've been in this room. We're going to tour the other 2 rooms I have, the ones I actually live in, the ones that, well, my partner and I have been living in pretty much nonstop for nearly a month now, in which my brothers have spent a significant amount of time in, and the place that we actually met and spoke, for those who could make the trip. If you are watching this and you have a story that is YouTube friendly, please leave it in the comments. I'm saving all of this stuff and packaging it as best I can for my family and friends, and I know I'm asking a lot of you emotionally, but I would be very, very, very happy. And to those who already have, thank you. You don't have to repeat or do it again. I said it a number of times while seeing all you, that it's a true shame that we don't get to have these kind of discussions, these kinds of meetings. We don't get to see everyone in our lives except in a tragedy. And I don't got a solution for that, but I'm glad I got to experience it, even if it took a tragedy. to YouTube, so I guess it's jump cut time. Welcome to floor 3 of the hospital in Elliott Lake, St. Joseph's Health Center or Regional Health Center. It is a Catholic hospital, which has provided me no problems, which is great. The hospice room is, as I said, on the 3rd floor, and we're about to go in, but this little weird room has been my home for the last month of my life, and will be my last residence. And I could do a whole lot worse. The staff here has been so good to me, to us. They give us, well, it's a hospice. They give us what we need. They stay out of our way with things like ice. Ice was a really, really, really important one to me early on. I don't know why, but I started with just needing, well, I do know why. It's because when there was still hope of, not cure, but beating back the problem a bit, I was pretty strict about what I could consume or not consume, and it didn't affect the outcome, but sneaking that cold ice water from the bottom of the jug in the middle of the night when no one was looking was, for a couple days, the only thing keeping me going. Because like I could suck on the ice chips. The way the stomach pump process works is you're trying to keep the pressure off of the closure on both sides of the intestine, so you don't want to load it with water. But when you can't have water, it's just so hard. The people around me at that stage, before we got up here, will remember forever how I would wax poetic about just the perfect temperature and how refreshing it is, and how it tastes at different parts of the tongue, and if you let it go beneath the tongue, it's different still, and how important feeling it cold in your throat and warming up inside you, how all of that makes the perfect glass of water. And not crying a lot, and you're gonna have to deal with that, but I'm just so happy thinking about the fact that I got to experience the perfect water. And Elliott Lake is up in northern Ontario, where the water is very, very soft. There's nothing dissolved in it. This is where I grew up. This is what the water should be like to me. And I would have probably been the same insane way in Midland or Kitchener with their extremely hard water, but this is a roundabout way of saying that I'm really glad I got to go home to die, where the water is right. So we've been hanging outside the hospice door for a minute. We're gonna go in. I have specifically asked my partner and my brothers and my mother and my father not to tidy. I want it to look like it does when we're in there. So the mess is on me. I am presenting you this because that is what I want. We're not done yet.
No?
The meal staff are so kind. they've been, well, I'm a patient, so I've been getting food since day one because I'm a patient. But very early on, they started bringing my partner a plate. And I think that's probably just the kindness you do to another human. But it's those little things that mean so much to us. And there's going to be a pitch at the end of this. But remember this, that hospice has been extremely good to us. Because I'm going to ask you guys for money. Not for me. But I think we're ready to go inside. Chub cut. Okay, I don't need to tell you this because you'd never know. But we just got interrupted for dinner. So I don't really remember where I left off. And frankly, it doesn't matter. I know there was crying about water and how I'm very happy I get to die at home, or at least closer to home than where I've spent the rest of my adult life. And now we're gonna go tour the last place I'll ever live, which sounds much more grim than it is because this has been a place of true joy for me. I almost got interrupted again. So this is my hospice living room, kitchen, dining room. It's where we've received almost every guest. I had a few of you in the bedroom because I was sick, and a few of you in the bedroom because we thought I was dying at that time. And I'm going to get to that when I get there, but we'll just take a look from the entryway. They gave us a full kitchenette with everything you need to live. That first cupboard there is a nice big one for coats and things, because this is Elliott Lake, and Elliott Lake gets serious winters, and a coat's got to go somewhere. All of the furniture here pulls out. My partner has been sleeping on this couch for weeks, but it comes out. It's very nice, but I don't know how to do it, so you're going to have to take my word. This chair pulls fully out. My brother's been sleeping on it for the last couple of nights. They've got this electric heater, which we don't need in the middle of a heat wave, but would be nice in the winter. And I have enjoyed the flames in the one in the bedroom a couple times. Each room has a nice television, and just, the medical things you'd need. I think that this is a name worth recording. I'll try, and it's furnishings provided by Brian Greenway in memory of his wife, Lorraine P. Lane, MSW, 1936 to 2015. That person did a tremendous kindness, because, as I said, this has been my home for the better part of a month now, and it's felt like home. That's a picture of Bessie when she was a puppy, and it's not a particularly good picture of Bessie, but here's the little secret. The crucifix is behind it. It's a Catholic hospital, and we covered up the two crucifixes early on, and nobody's cared. And I think that's the best I can hope for. My pretty kitty cat, would have really liked to have seen her more, but she's getting acquainted with her new home. She's gonna live with my parents, and my parents are the ones with those two lovely poodles, and here they are. And this is an old photo. Nobody still looks like this, and I don't think any of them like it, which is why I wanted to share it. We're just looking at my cat because she's really important to me. She's been living in my parents' apartment for a week or so now, and they're getting along great, which is great because historically she doesn't like dogs. So learning that she just didn't like specific dogs and that these particularly cool dogs are fine is important to me. These are you. These are you people who are important to me and who have come to visit me. So many faces. Most of them are already in a scrapbook we're putting together. That's the homework that I've given everyone. You have to write stories, memories, and yeah. This group here is what I was looking for, if I can get it to come out. These three are... You know what? Let's sit down. I don't want to flip camera. Let's not. When you complete your cancer treatment, typically you're offered the opportunity to strike a bell 3 times to indicate that you're done. I opted... There's the bell. It's a beautiful bell. I opted not to both times I finished treatment. I don't know why the first time. I don't think I knew it was an option. And I actively chose not to when I finished my 3rd round of chemo back in April. It just felt fraudulent, like I knew I was coming back for more, or maybe not that, maybe that because I lost, it wasn't mine. But I think somebody mentioned it to me, and I guess there's no timestamp on a Polaroid, so I couldn't tell you when it happened, but I got to, and it was one of the emotionally most difficult things I've ever done in my life, because it really did represent, I guess surrender is better than giving up, but it represented the acknowledgement that not only was the cancer going to kill me, but very soon. And I wish I could tell you what very soon means right now, but a couple days ago I was terrified that I wasn't going to make it to my second Cancerversary. Well, that's grim. It's like, I don't know, it's just an apartment. It's just so normal. These are my ice buckets. We constantly accumulate more than we need, and the nurses take them back, and we get them back, and it's, I guess that's the circle of life. It's just a silly little table where we take our meals, but sitting down and my partner having her hospital food and me having my broth. We got a sample menu right here. Not actually spouse. But sitting with my partner and taking our meals has been, it's the stability that gets you through the day. I had a cousin come by today with his daughter, and I love child art. I think that's a highway with a campfire because they're going out to their camp up Highway 17 near Thessalon today, and she was as excited as I was when I was grade 1 to do that. She drew a picture of Alicia, which I did kind of think was a nun at first, but what are you going to do? Then my cousin's child, my friend's child, and the same cousin again painted this beautiful rainbow. And normally I sit over here so I can see all this. And if I twist my head a little bit, I can see all my photos. Because I've been careful to make sure that I only see the things that are good. We're going to wait for, it's shift change here, and it's Elliott Lake, so this kind of thing happens. Alicia keeps calling this fellow Obama Snow, and I don't think it is. I think it's got a different name, but he makes a really good pillow, and he's been just hanging around a lot, and it's great. I pass the time, I pass the time really high because of the drugs I'm on. Alicia passed the time doing these puzzles. So many puzzles. She's finished at least 12 in our time here. For a while it was one a day. How rude. But it's a heat wave, so I can't do anything about it. Just things. I got a Silly Goose postcard. Oh well. You can't see it. An old photo of me and the girls. I've decided that the sloth's name is Dennis, which is a fun joke for exactly 2 of you. For 2 of Alicia's teachers' college friends. I don't know why I kept them, but I kept them. Way back when I visited Peru in 2012, and I think I paid $20 for that photo, but those alpacas were damn worth it. The room is full of squishmallows and everything, and for being honest, there's still a pile of them at home. They didn't all make it. There's too many. I don't know. Jump cut. So this is my vacuum pump. We were going to call him, we were looking for a name early on, and I think it's James Willis invented an early vacuum pump, but that never caught on, which is too bad. Said it's got lots of functions. It can pump continuously. It can pump intermittently. That's it. You can control the pressure, but that's all you need. And all I do is connect this canister, which thankfully you can't see what's in it because it's gross. I connect that canister through these lines here. up to this line. I'm not going to do it because then I'm stuck to the machine. And you just, and it's my, it's going to call it a wind machine, noise machine for night. It just purrs away. Early on, we couldn't attach ourselves from it. We couldn't empty it. We needed help for everything. And in fact, we got stuck in the ICU for 3 days because they couldn't figure out how to make it work at all. It turns out that this seal just needs to be sealed. And once you know the amount of force, most people can do it. But when you didn't know the amount of force, you kind of need to be a 250-pound man. So, figured it out. It's been a learning process. And now, nobody but me touches it. And my partner and brothers sometimes empty the container. I don't like when they do it because I said it's gross. I haven't even told you what it does. So the cancer beat me by giving me a full I'm trying to think back to what they called it in when I was in the hospital in Midland in April. Anyways, then the bowel partially closed, and here again it partially closed, and then it fully closed. So there's no connection between my stomach and my large intestine, and that will kill you. It takes time. I'm still here. That happened a month ago, but ultimately, cancer going to get you in a weird way, and that's what got me. I genuinely was expecting spread to lungs. I don't know why. Poetic, I guess. So, I said earlier that taking meals with my partner is extremely important to me. And I spoke earlier about how water is almost a religious experience. And I meant those things. So if I'm going to take this stuff in, it's got to come out some way. So aside from a small amount of water, salt, and sugar that the stomach can absorb, everything I take in comes out through the nose, which you absolutely get used to and sounds significantly grosser than it is because it's in a sealed tube. Like, it's just the first time you have like a cup of ice water and then that comes out and your nose is chilling from the inside, that is genuinely strange, but you get used to it. Humans are just really good at getting used to everything. It's how we got where we are, and where we are ain't all great, but I still believe going to the moon was a good thing, worth doing, impressive. So that kind of behavior got us to the moon, and I feel good about it. But you learn some stuff comes out better than others, and whatever. And I'm going to talk about the tube for a bit, because I've shared this story with a lot of people who are here, and I think it's one of my, it's got some of my favorite stories of me. So when I had the HIPEC surgery, or when we attempted the HIPEC surgery back in June 2023, back when there was hope. That was actually the hope. I'm rambling a lot, but this outcome has been inevitable since June 9th or June 10th of 2023. That was the only way to avoid this. And we've been living under this weird cloud ever since. However, when they do bowel surgery, major bowel surgery, they have to shut down your bowels completely. So at that point in my life, there was physical connections, like you could put a connection between stomach and rectum, but it was kind of disabled. It was closed in a non-dangerous way, or in a way that you needed to be hospitalized to make sure opened. And the purpose of the true purpose of the tube, isn't to drink cold water. The true purpose of the tube is to remove pressure on the small bowel so it can heal, or remove other. For me, that's what it was. So it was just gently sucking out extra bile so that things could open in a controlled, healthy way. And it hurt so bad. Like the part in the nose, it's been in too long. I would have permanent tissue damage along the path, probably, if that mattered. But it mattered to me then. It hurt, and I had a hard time talking, and I just choked all the time. It's different now because I'm used to it, but also because I can't eat and drink and things. We can abuse it a bit. There's just more saliva and mucus that keeps things like lubricated. And also that room at Mount Sinai was really dry. But I hated it, and I swore at those surgeons. those highest praised surgeons in the country. I hated them for what they were doing to me. I told them I never consent to another one coming back in, which was true at the time, but also poor bargaining position if I'm trying to get rid of it, because I was admitted, and unless I physically tore it out, they didn't have to remove it. I don't think I would have torn it out. That's not me. That's a different level of trauma. And in April, when I was in the Midland Hospital, I hated it, but I also knew that it was the only way to make the pain go away, because that was the second most pain I've ever experienced in my life. And here, I love the tube. It lets me have Coke. And after much experimenting, I think a perfectly chilled Coke is probably the best beverage for me. What if? No. That's a thought for me. Here's the remains of our once mighty drink fridge, full at various times with strange Polish fruit drinks, which were all fantastic, and all of the wonderful weird drinks available to you in a Chinese grocer that my friends from down south brought me. Those are long gone, and honestly, probably for the best. I would love to have one of the Polish ones again, but I think that we could probably get that in town. And as I said, in a different video, in one of the juice videos, the time for that is past. chasing things like that is for me a particularly toxic kind of nostalgia. But we're going to go through a little bit on what is still going on here, because we're a little low on stuff that I kind of wish we had, but there's still grocery stores. But can't really see it, but a collection of various broths, mushroom and pho and beef, because the broths that come out of the kitchen are just not good. They are probably nutritionally complete, but you just heard me say I can't absorb it anyways, so I may as well be happy on the tongue. What else we got? They give us so many little cartons of milk. You didn't hear fat on the things I can digest. I can drink milk and it tastes very good. I do a couple times a day, but it's got to come out right away or it'll make me sick. I don't actually know if it would make me sick. I haven't tried. I don't know if I still have those reflexes, because there have been a lot of weird medicines, and knowing what my medicines were doing was a way I was in as much control of my cancer as I could have been, and I had to give it up. It's like in what was it, around Halloween, I gave up most international news, which I was never a news junkie, but it was a thing I cared deeply about. I liked to know what was going on in the world, even if it was terrible, and I had to stop. I didn't have the bandwidth, and then I've been reading through all of my old Facebook posts, compiling them. You will see something soon. And I just slowly cut down more and more and more and more, and I eventually had to stop stuff about myself, which is fine. You survive, you live, and there's no point fretting about things that are that far out of your control. But if you find yourself very sick, don't beat yourself up if you can't keep up with things that were important once. They can still be important to you, and hey, maybe you got more luck than me. Maybe you pull through, you can catch up again. It'll be there for you. But if I don't even know, I don't got an example. No, when you're sick, you take time for you, and that sometimes means giving up things that were important to you. They made me give up food for a while. I still can't eat it, but if you're careful, you can be gross and chew like a cow, except no swallow good. We got, in addition to those broths, there are a couple restaurants in town that you can just buy broth from. This is a particularly tasty Thai coconut Korean soup. It's a small town, so it's a fusion deal, but I got this yesterday, and the coconut was a spectacular treat, and nobody in my family really cooks hot, so the heat was a kick in the pants, but it was different. My brother hopefully should be back soon, and we're going to go for some mocktails or kombucha. This is my favorite beer in the world, and I'm allowed to have alcohol, but I need help. Always got to keep the Jello. Strawberry. And then just whole pile of snacks. Everything that I bought for the Alberta trip ended up in this room. And I bought a lot of snacks because I'm a well-prepared person that way. And mostly got eaten. I'm going to look at the other drink thing because I actually don't know what I have. So this is going to be exciting for both of us. Normally, at about 9 o'clock is when I go through this cupboard and I stock up the fridge for tomorrow with the things I want. But today, we can do it together. All right. So, I don't think I want that. I do think I want Guinness. I've been waking up with a 0 alcohol Guinness, and it's pretty good. But I forgot I had the Corona too, and they were really good in the morning. So I'm gonna put one of each in. Got lots of Coke. That's good. Gotta check the space because I don't want to monopolize it all. They, you know, I mean, Goslings. Gotta go with Goslings, even though it's not a Gosling. That's a small number. Used to be I'd put 5 or 6 things in just for the morning. That was what Juice Morn was. And then you just mix them. It worked really good when I had the Polish stuff, because that was largely just more fruit juices. The Asian stuff, never really learned how to mix it right. And I'm going to throw those in and some Coke, but I will not subject you to that. That's boring. As he subjects you to it. Jump cut. I just got interrupted again, so I don't know where I am because I figured it out. I don't regret any of my treatment. Scientifically, medically, there was no other choice at any point. No other way out. Nothing available. If you have heard of something else available, it is either experimental and I was not suitable for it, or quackery. And that's fine. There's a lot of quackery out there. Boy, do I know. The thing I wish I knew is how much chemo affects your cognitive processes. Chemo brain, it's a thing. You can look it up. Because being the smart person was always the thing I was. It was the, not necessarily the most important thing to me, but, and I lost it piece by piece through this entire process. And had the surgery worked, it would have been recoverable. I mean, it wasn't. I'm still sharp, and that was never really the risk, but I couldn't do the same recreational math I used to be able to do. And reading my posts from the most recent round of chemo, wow, do I notice the changes. I didn't notice them when they were happening. I was just Facebook stream of consciousness writing them, but I notice now, and my friend the pain pump keeps me lucid, but some things are hard, and I would have never paused this much in a video I made 2 years ago. I would have never made a video 2 years ago, though. This entire project exists only because of the cancer. This video, every video, every photo. You guys got to see my life for 2 terrible, terrific, wonderful years because of it. This feels like a conclusion, and I haven't shown you the other room yet, and it's because I really don't want to wake my partner. I'm going to, because that's my bedroom, and that's the bed I'm going to die on, probably. There's a significant chance, and if it's not that one, it'll be the second last. So it's important. It's part of the story. But on the mental decline, I never know what day of the week it is. Because I don't have hunger, because I don't eat, I never know what time it is. Except by the heat of the day, because the sun sweeps around our windows here at about now. I closed the blinds early for lighting for this, but we have to close them or we'd boil, and then in about an hour it's low enough in the sky that the intensity's gone and we get the most spectacular sunsets. Unfortunately, I got a 6-year-old Samsung phone, not the equipment to show you, so you'll have to take my word for it that the sunsets over Elliott Lake are truly spectacular. And the hospice room here in the hospital, the 3rd floor facing the lake, which includes the hospice room, probably has the most spectacular sunsets, or sunset visibility in the entire town. There's a very lovely lookout, which I always send people to because there's 2 things in town worth looking at. The lookout gives you a view over Georgian Bay from 30 kilometers away, and your sunrise is there good. And if you're ever here in the fall, your autumn leaves are as good as you could hope for, but it's August. I don't get the leaves. I get the sunsets and the occasional thunderstorm. And it's the kind of thing that no amount of trouble like this, no cancer, I guess it'll literally take it away from me, but it won't take the joy of it away from me. And this is disjointed, and I'm not going to edit it so that it makes a lot of sense. I'm going to edit it so that the clumps are in the order I recorded them and stuck together. So one of my takeaways of cancer is to take your little walks and catch the sunsets. I know that for months, when all the nurses wanted me to do was walk anything, I did my best. I got down to the breakwater in Palm Beach, 300 meters one way, 300 meters the other, up a hill that kicked my ass every time. But I saw my sunsets. And in the summer I hung around and I watched the arcade lights come on I always thought I'm reflected in the swimming area, which is a little bit protected, so the waves are smaller. The colors were as beautiful. And I know that shoulder phenomena is a real fucking stereotype. Love the fucking sun. But I had a long route home from the grocery store that took me by a farm with half a dozen sheep, a llama, and an alpaca. And since I discovered it during the pandemic, that was also a special treat. A little pick-me-up. One I got to share with my partner and my best friend Billy so many times. I did say that although I may want a celebration, it wasn't happening today. But hospital cranberry, ginger ale, ice, same as a little cranberry cup. Perfect drink every time. One of the 3 things they send me every time, with bad broth, which you've seen my substitutes for, and either coffee or tea. They make the tea in a vat. It's undrinkable. And I drink the coffee. The last time I tried coffee was 2015. Nope, 2005. First year of university. I hated it. So, in addition to the sun, try things you don't like sometimes. I derailed myself. This was never going to be a party. I didn't know that these were the things I was going to talk about. But it feels right. And I'm not taking questions, but I kind of wish I could. All right. We've got to visit the bedroom. It's not so different than this room. It's just a room. But it is the one where I spend my time. So let's go. So, as in the other room, the cat I can no longer hold. Not literally. She visits. But the cat I can no longer spend my time with and my nights with is featured prominently. And here's the location of the other crucifix. And St. Patrick is Catholic, so I think it's okay. But this is a much better photo of everyone involved, and I am glad to have it watching over me as I sleep. It's like I just want to see, it's a hospital, and sometimes it's cold and sometimes it's a heat wave, and you kind of just gotta hoard the supplies until the nurses take them back. My friends here, Doug and Doug Doug the cat was supposed to be Thomason, but Doug the cat here looks just like my cousin's cat, Doug, who I adore because he's a true kingpin. And we tried to find another name for this dog, but I've seen Up, and that is Doug. So, my pals, Doug and Doug. We brought the Switch, or I had the Switch. I had the Switch with me from day one. It's part of my hospital bag. I don't know if there's anything in my hospital bag anymore. I got this when I worked at Target. The social worker, I'm going to have to blank that. The social worker who was going to call me when I got out. Microphones I never figured out how to use for the Alberta trip. Just wallet. Nurses drop stuff everywhere. For 2 years, I had that packed with all of my medical information and entertainment and chargers so that I'd never be bored at the chemo center where I spent 3 or so hours every 2 weeks. But now it's just all over the place. Thank you so much for making that for me. It's one of those tremendous small kindnesses that we all live for. I don't remember your name right now because none of this was planned. Most of this stuff isn't mine. The stuffies are. But most of the stuff is just, there's music and movies. It's donations so that the people who are living here, who have significantly less mobility than me, can have something resembling a life. It's wonderful. Our stash of stuff that we don't really need right now because it's so hot. Doesn't really stand up anymore. Hat's too heavy. This is the third piece of medical stuff that's extremely important. It's my IV. I recommend blinging out your IV if your nurses allow it. And when you're in hospice, the nurses allow it. It's a lot less important to me now because, well, not on as many medications. 1 second. You'd rather look at my face, right? It's not as important to me now because I'm not on the medications I used to be on. When I got here, it was just a fluid drip all the time and medication. And I think that most of my painkillers were there originally. Speaking of, I normally don't press the pain pump a lot, but we're getting to the point where I'm going to need a base-loaded adjustment. And in 15 minutes, I'll feel better. And then we went through, they call it a bolus, where they give you a bunch of water at once. And they were doing it twice a day, morning and evening, which was better because then I wasn't attached to the pole all the time. And that's freedom. And now we're doing it twice during the day, and that's even better, but that's just better. It means I'm not attached to it at night and I have better freedom. I'm still attached to the pump we talked about earlier a lot, but that's fine. I choose that. Jump cut. The last place is the bathroom. And if this were a video about chemotherapy, this would be the star room. This would be where I spent all my time because I threw up so much. But it's not. I don't have a working digestive system. I haven't had a bowel movement in, I think the last time I had one was in Southern Ontario, so on the 5th. Sorry, gross information, but if you ever find yourself the resident of one of these places and you have your own like private bathroom, bring in a few rolls that don't suck. They won't steal them from you, and then your like guests or live-in people will be much happier. There's not really a reason to show this. It's just here. Most of it was here. Some of it's donations. Some of it's not. We're gonna go lie down. To drive home a point, I almost put the hospital gown back on for this. Because this is the first time I've been dressed in clothes in weeks. And it felt good. But this is a hospice room. I came here to expire. And I had a really good time with all of you just now. I don't know what I expected to be doing when I turned on record. And I've just gone with it. And I'm going to probably forget a piece when I put it in. And I guarantee when I press publish, I'm never looking at this again. I'll never have the emotional distance. But I showed you my apartment. So that's a promise kept. And we shared some stories. And I don't know. The great strength of the internet is how close it makes you feel to people who you are not that close with, or who you share a different kind of closeness with. And anyone who's made it this far knows how important it was for me to be in Northern Ontario to die, which is... Sorry I keep dropping these emotional bombs, but that's why we're here. Which is possibly one of the most intimate thoughts I've ever had. But also feels so right to share it with all of you. You're my people. The close friends and family, my partner, my brother sitting up there, the everyone who came to visit, you people who we message, people who I message back and forth with but have never met, and even the people who we just share likes on each other's cat photos. You are my people. I love you all. I wish I had the energy to delay this part for an hour, because the sun's coming down and the wood smoke in the air is going to make a spectacular sunset. And I couldn't show you it if I wanted to, because bad camera equipment, but the way the light plays across this room, I don't know timelines. I think I've mentioned, maybe it got cut, that I had a lot of anxiety that I wasn't going to get to record this today. But I did. But that also means that every magnificent sunset could very well be my last. And one second. No, it's you're not the first.
I'm sorry. I could have waited. There's
No.
rush.
There's as I said, nurses have been in and out, and I've been cutting every time. So
Yeah. Okay, I'll just do this
yeah,
quickly.
Today's the second anniversary of my diagnosis.
Oh.
I'm crying. I'm very happy I made it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Are we on video?
I think we are, and I meant to turn it off.
It's okay.
So that's why it's closed. That's why the things last year when it was a lot. Well, I had energy and I was in the hospital.
Yeah.
Through a stuffed animal tea party, and just not the energy this year. What was it?
Actually, it didn't even register.
Okay.
So let's do it again. These machines are very temperamental, these ones. If I grab the right one. I don't think I did.
Okay.
You're good.
Yeah. So there's you could have caught me when I was talking about the hospital food, and it was in smiles, and you just caught me at the end.
Yeah, you're so inspirational, honestly. I know it's tough. Go ahead.
I was gonna say you'll if you're ever in a situation or another one, you find the way to get through, and can't tell you what it's gonna be. It's gonna be weird, but you'll find the way through.
Well, that's the...
And my way through was to immediately just making a lot of stuff on social media.
Yeah, eh? Well, maybe I'll come across your content.
Good.
Okay, I'm going to let you finish that.
Okay.
I don't have to do anything right now. I just had brought down your meds, but
Yeah,
I'll leave the added ons here.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'll give you the Octreotide because I've got it out of the fridge already. Okay?
Yeah. We've I didn't pause. So every time I get a medication, they use the QR codes to keep track of stuff in their systems. And my nurse happens to be here, so we can experience this fun little thing. That's it. And now I can have the important medications. Forgot where I was again. Sun's lower. I'll go on forever. And frankly, that's kind of the problem. Because you want to go on forever. Or at least you want to go on as long as you want to go along. I don't want forever. I would love that 6 months. 5 to 10 years that the surgery promised would have been beautiful. Everything a dying boy could ask for. But whether you know it or not, you're going to get a point in your life where it's week or days. And that's the question for my doctor in the morning. And boy, do I not envy the day she's going to be walking into. But that's where I am. The band is playing me off. and I have to go. And I want to talk to you forever. I want this intimacy from you if you're willing to share it. Don't, not in the comments. That's, you do you. But I want to sit around a theoretical campfire with every one of you and just experience each other. But this video is not what I set out to do. Not what I set out to make. And frankly, if I thought I was going to be around long enough to deal with all the consequences, I don't know if I could post it. I think I'd be too timid. So if they say you got to be strong to get through disease, this is where I'm putting my strength into being so open. It's weird because I genuinely thought I'd be talking about my family and friends, but their stories are not mine, so it feels kind of sorry, phone's dying. And we got to get through this now or it's never getting done. Those stories are stories I shared with them. And I love my cat, but somehow that's the same. But the thing that cancer has taught me more than anything else is that I, at the very least, and I think many of us have a profound need to be known and understood. And I feel confident that I've achieved that. I don't know what I set out to do today, but I know I did it. And that's not the Cancerversary I wanted. I genuinely wanted, well, a digestive system that allowed me to have cake or pie, blueberry pie. It's blueberry season up here. It's the, as important as the water here to my identity, and the winter, and the rocks. It's a beautiful place. My home of Chapleau is fine, but treat yourself to a drive, stopping at all the sights and beaches and rivers and between Sudbury and Thunder Bay. It's not Alberta, but I'm not a spiritual person, but there you will meet me. Nowhere else. This is home. So, I wanted cake. And instead I got radical openness. And I sorry for making you cry. I made it to 2 Cancerversaries, and if any of you are ever unfortunate enough to be in this kind of situation, I hope you get many more, and I hope you celebrate them like their birthday or Christmas or whatever else matters. Because you survived. And you probably won't forever, but you survived another year. I made it to my minimum prognosis. I would have liked my maximum, but that's not nothing. Happy Cancerversary. When you're out of the door, I'll start.
Just give a shout, but not a yell.
Yep. So, definitely repeating myself again, but thank you for joining me for my Cancerversary video. It means so much to me that you were here digitally. But clearly something has changed and the whimsy has returned. And I need to talk to you about the gospel of hospice. We're not talking religion. That was perhaps whatever. I'm dying. I can do what I want. Hospice is a gift. Hospice is the difference between a good death and a different death. I personally would probably have been okay. I have the familial supports. I have the insurance. I have the friends. But the difference, well, I've shown you my home here, and I don't have a waiting room at home. I don't have pull-out couches. I don't have a kitchen table. We couldn't have done, we could not have seen everyone we saw and had such a tremendous time if I had to do this at home. And for somebody without the means, I literally can't imagine. And I'm only just now touched on the social part and how good it was for a living funeral, I guess, a living celebration of life. I didn't know what I wanted was to be a member of my own celebration of life, but I got that. And I got that because the Elliott Lake Hospital has a good hospice. And I can sleep easy every night knowing that I'm a nurse call button away from whatever I need. Be that simple things like new linens, or that I don't have to take care of, or the medicines that keep me alive or comfortable. If I get tangled in an IV, I don't have to wait for somebody to come rescue me. This place is wonderful. It is as I said, is a gift. And being able to spend your last days in a place like this is a thing everyone should be able to have if they want. So, here's my plea to you and anyone who ever sees this. Donate money. The Elliott Lake Hospital is called St. Joseph Health Center. I have been asking people to donate to their oncology expansion program. Well, that's, as of recording, one of their projects. And oncology is extremely important to me for reasons that are pretty obvious. They're not raising money for their hospice right now. But, so it's weird. I'm saying, yes, hospice good. But if my family we're fine financially. This didn't ruin us. If you want to donate money in my temporary honor, soon to be memory, funds donated to St. Joseph's Hospital oncology program are what I want. I would have taken advantage of it had this not happened. It would have saved me, and it will save anyone who benefits from it, a 2-hour trip to Sudbury, one way, every time they need treatment, chemotherapy, see their doctor. I think it's mostly the chemo seats. There are some here, but they're small in number, and we could improve a lot of lives. That is what I'm asking for. That is what I want. It feels kind of weird to ask, especially Americans, to donate to a Canadian hospital just because of Medicare. And I accept that, which is where the hospice plea comes in, because somebody in your town is doing the good work of hospice and probably could use some money. So, St. Joseph's Hospital Oncology, your local hospice. If you can afford the money, and I don't want to guilt you, because it's your life, but if I've touched you emotionally over this by frankly oversharing, it would mean a lot to me. And I probably won't be around to hear it, but please share the charities so that maybe someday my mother can look and see the good that came out of it. I want to specifically put kibosh on animal charities. I think that animal rescue is extremely important, and if you feel that a cat rescue is a thing you want to donate in my name to, that is okay. But maybe split it with a medical one, someone who's doing the work, because we're so good at jumping to the help of things that we consider less fortunate and innocent, and nothing's more innocent than a kitten, but I can't possibly explain to somebody who isn't covered in the stuffed animals on their deathbed the importance of the work that goes on here. It's all important and it's all good, but I just want to help out fellow humans right now, because the world's an unkind place, and all I want is the kindness. So, reiterate, third time. I'm told by real YouTubers that's how you do it. St. Joseph's Hospital, Elliott Lake. I'll provide a link to their donations, but it's also on the main page. I think they're automatically directing everything that is like in my memory or whatever it is to the oncology, but you can select, and the other programs are good, and if it's coming here, I'm fine with it all. But for me, the cancer stuff, this is not like this is beds and nurses. Probably chairs, and not personnel because of the way funding works. But this is direct. This isn't the Canadian Cancer Society where there's, or large charities where we get a bit nervous. This is just capital project. They need more capacity. Your local hospice or similar, because I know that hospice doesn't have to be end of life, and there might be a different name they use for coming through bigger things. And then it's your money. Just do good. I want to put a more between the pitch and the goodbye, but I'm trapped under stiff animals and I need help. And the last time I called for help, they thought I really needed help, so we're not going to cry wolf. I've loved knowing all of you. You're fucking magnificent. I've seen your crafts, your art, your deep cultural knowledge, your love of space and raccoons. I never got to see a possum, but possums just keep being fucking magnificent, and I delayed long enough. You can see the light filtering through the room. Unfortunately, the phone is filtering it out. But I can see it. And I'm going to end here so that I can get someone to open that blind for me and I can enjoy a magnificent sunset. And you should find one too. Thank you.